Hello everyone and welcome to Manage Engine Applications Manager free training series. Thank you all for taking the time out and being here today. We're in the third part of our free training series where we'll be discussing about digital experience monitoring. In today's digital era, most enterprises use a web platform to reach potential customers and showcase the products and the solutions they offer. Websites have become extremely popular as a medium of establishing a brand image, and they contribute in making a major share of the revenue. Well planned websites can capture the attention of the right target audience, increasing the probability of turning them into valuable paying customers. Whether you deliver a smooth experience for your customers or not depends on the performance of your website. So, this is exactly what we're going to discuss today. Now, let us take a look at the agenda for today. In today's agenda, first, we'll be looking at how we can measure the website performance and changes in real time. Secondly, we will talk about how we can proactively identify and resolve potential user impacting issues through synthetic monitoring, followed by how you can analyze real user behavior patterns to gain insights into front end performance. Lastly, we'll discuss how you can enhance web page performance to safeguard your brand reputation. Let us get started with the first topic, which is measuring website performance and changes in real time. According to an article published in browserstack.com, 47% of the consumers expect a website to load in 2 seconds or less. 40% of people abandon a website that takes more than 3 seconds to load. Moreover, even a second delay in a page response can result in 7% reduction in conversions. If a website is unavailable or has poor responsiveness, end users won't be able to engage with your website's pages or wouldn't want to wait for them to load, which can have a significant impact on your business reputation. Therefore, to ensure the effectiveness of your site, avoid any performance hiccups, and create a seamless digital experience for users, website performance monitoring is essential. Not only does it provide insights into your website's availability, but it also gives you an understanding of critical metrics of your website so that you can work on improving its reliability and make it work optimally. Now, the first step in a digital experience journey is the interaction that the user has with the website. So, when the user tries to access a particular website, it needs to be available. Website downtime and slowness are major causes of concern for businesses. Frequent downtime and slowness can make your site lose credibility among your loyal customers, as well as create a negative first impression on first time visitors. So, what causes a website slowness and downtime? First, we have scheduled maintenance, which is a temporary period during a website or an app is made offline for updates, backups, or maintenance purposes. Then, we have data center problems or server errors. If there is a data center problem or a server error, then a request from the user may not even reach the server. Thirdly, there may be bugs in the code, which may cause errors and prevent the site from loading. Fourth, the website may be experiencing high traffic. If too many people are accessing the website at the same time, the website may not be able to handle that surge in the load. Fifth, there may be some hacking attempts made to the website. Hackers may try to pull any suspicious activity on the websites, which can cause the site to go down or become slow. Lastly, in case your SSL certificate expires, that might cause issues among the users and may not be able to trust the site anymore. To prevent problems like this, Applications Manager's URL monitoring can be very helpful. Why URL monitoring? It helps you ensure 24/7 website availability. It acts as continuous URL monitoring service that keeps a constant watch over a specific URL or a web page. It helps verify the availability of the specified addressable standard HTTP and HTTPS URLs. It helps you get instant notifications whenever your site is down. If there is a performance anomaly that the tool has noticed, you can recheck the website status to identify and eliminate false positives. You'll also be able to validate HTTP requests and track website response time, along with split ups such as DNS time, connection time, first byte, last byte time. The response time of a website determines the speed of the website. If the response time is slow, it takes longer for your website to connect and send data packages to the browser or user. The website without latency can have a good impression on customers and can also help lower the bounce rates. With URL monitoring, you'll be able to understand your website's first response time along with its last byte time, DNS time, connection time, and many more. This will be a strong indicator of how fast your website is performing to the particular end user. You'll be able to quickly diagnose the root cause of the issues. You'll also be able to perform detailed content checks to ensure the availability of URLs. Now let us see how a URL monitor looks in Applications Manager. So to start with the URL monitor in Applications Manager, you'll need to add a URL monitor by clicking on New Monitor and then Add New Monitor. And then of all the 150 services we offer to monitor, the URL monitor falls under Web Server or Services Monitoring. If you click on Web Server and Services Monitoring, you will be redirected to all the Web Server and Services Monitoring tools that we offer. Then you click on the HTTPS URL monitors here, which will redirect you to an Add Monitor page where you give a display name according to your preference, the URL you want to monitor, and the polling interval for the URL monitor, which is set to 5 minutes initially, and the timeout, which is set as 120 seconds initially. You can also add advanced web monitors like SSL, TLS certificator, DNS monitor, brand reputation monitor, and website content monitor. And then you configure the HTTP. So you need to select a form submission method here. If it is a get method, you can proceed. And if it is a post method, you'll need to specify the payload type here. And you can specify all the request parameters if there are. And you can authenticate this monitor using pre-existing credentials with you, or you can select a credential from your credential list, or you can configure an SAML or ADFS authentication. You can also add a new SAML authenticator using this click. You can give it a display name, redirect URL, select the form submission method, whether it is a post method or a get method, and you should input custom HTTPS headers if there are any. Select the version and check this box if there is any form redirect and proceed. You can add the ADFS authentication here and click on save and proceed with it. Once you're done with this, you can configure a content check here. This is completely optional, and once you're done with this, you can add the URL monitor to an existing monitor group or associate with a new monitor group by creating it here. Once you're done with adding the new monitor, to monitor your URL directly from Applications Manager, you can click on Monitors, which will direct you to this page, and you can find your URL monitor right under Web Server or Services. Our monitor is right here. If you click on it, you'll be directed here. Once you get in, you'll be able to fetch all the monitor availability of your URL, the response time with the split, and the page load time. And then you can also access the page size for the last 1 hour. To generate a report, you can click on here and you can generate the performance report based on custom period according to your preference. You can also export it to a PDF or a CSV file. To configure an alarm here, click on Configure Alarms, select a threshold, whether if it is an adaptive threshold or a normal threshold, and you can give it a profile and configure actions at attribute level as well, based on the severity level, namely critical, warning, and clear. You can associate actions and trigger responsive actions based on the threshold breach to reduce mean time to respond. So this is how the URL monitor works inside Applications Manager. Moving on to the next topic of the day, which is proactively identifying and resolving potential user impacting issues through synthetic monitoring. In today's age of instant gratification, end users expect to enjoy a seamless, issue-free experience on your website. Although the monitoring will give you a fair idea whether your website is up and running, you cannot know if the users are being able to perform the transactions without any failures unless you understand the website's end user experience. This is exactly where synthetic monitoring helps. Here are a few things that synthetic monitoring will help you with. First and foremost, it will help you analyze the website performance from an end user perspective, which would help you identify issues that might otherwise go unnoticed. It will help you to test the performance of critical user paths by recording complex workflows to keep an eye on the important transactions that are taking place in your website. You can dynamically track your website availability and performance from your end user's location. And lastly, it will help you ensure that your website is meeting your business objectives and will provide a complete line of sight on your SLAs. Now let us see how Applications Manager's real browser monitoring facilitates synthetic transaction monitoring. Applications Manager's synthetic transaction monitoring feature, also known as the Real Browser Monitor, opens up an actual browser like Firefox or Chrome in multiple geographical locations. It tracks how the elements in a website load from a particular location and, more specifically, the way your users view them. So, this will help you simulate business critical processes via Selenium based scripting of tests. So, the first step basically involves a web transaction recorder in which you'll have to record the details, the critical transactions, every action you're performing while recording, be it hovering, clicking on a particular element, sliding images, all of these will be seen in a Selenium-based scripting file. Then it runs checks from real browsers such as Chrome, Firefox. So Applications Manager then opens up a real browser in which it plays the recorded transaction again to identify in case any error is occurring or not. During the playback, data collection takes place and all your performance metrics are then published on your applications monitoring dashboard. It also lets you take screenshots during the playback in case there are any errors in the UI. The main advantage of synthetic transaction monitoring is that you can test your website from multiple locations, be it enterprise branch offices or actual customer locations. To facilitate monitoring from multiple branch locations, we make sure of the end user monitoring agents. So this is how the agent works. Say, for example, if you're hosting an event in your office and created a registration form for the same, all the employees need to register for this event, which means employees from all your branch offices should be able to do so without any hassles. To test this critical workflow of filling out the form and successfully registering for the event, you can use Applications Manager's Real Browser Monitor. For that, you'll need to install the EUM agent in all your branch offices. Then you can record the transaction of filling and registration from your main office. The same transaction will then be performed in all your branch offices using this EUM agent, and then all the data will be sent to Applications Manager. This way, you can check if this particular workflow functions without any errors and in all the desired locations. Applications Manager's end user monitoring agent provides greater visibility into user experience and helps detect potential performance issues with ease. These agents can be installed in multiple branch offices in different cities or in different systems of your end users. All you need to have is a secured HTTP connection between the agent and your applications monitoring server. So let us take a look at how RBM works with Applications Manager. So to have a real browser monitor in your console, you need to download the EUM agent for Applications Manager. You can download the agent from here based on your operating system, build version, and agent version. So once you download this, you'll need to enter an API key, which you can obtain from the console here. You can click on Settings, go to Integration with Portals, click on REST API, and then you can have the API key, which helps you install the EUM agent in your console. Once you're done installing the EUM agent, you can click on New Monitor, click on Add New Monitor, and then click on Web Server or Services. Take you to this page, and you can click on Real Browser Monitoring right here and enter the URL that you're wanting to monitor here. Once you enter it, you'll be asked to select the device type which you want to monitor it from, whether it is a desktop, a tab, or a mobile. And then you can Then you can start recording. Once you click on record new transaction, it'll ask you a base URL for transaction and you can click on start recording. So you'll have a pop-up shown in the bottom right corner. You can perform transactions like navigating, clicking on a URL link, or sliding some images and going through pages. And once you're done recording all your transactions, you can navigate to the recorder, click on stop recording at the top right corner. Then you can click on playback and save. Once you're done, you can check the preferences and update the fields. Once you click do test playback, it'll set the entire course of actions and your web transaction monitor will be ready to monitor your website. So this is how a web transaction recorder works. In case you don't want to record all of it, you can also import a Selenium script, the .sid test case files here, and you can proceed with the upload. Once you're done with this, you can go to monitors. Find your monitor under web server or services monitoring. So as you can see, you can get all the performance overview of your transactions here for the last 6 hours. And if you want to go deeper, you can click on the EOM agents here. So this will take you to the performance of the transactions you have recorded. As you can see, you can monitor the page load time in a graph here. This will help you identify the anomalies if anything is going up or down. And then you have transaction time. We have a breakdown of each step and the page load time for each transaction right here. And as you can see, all the steps you have recorded will be here. And you can monitor the page load time and the help of each transaction. And you can also find the transaction screenshots here. So this helps you keep a keen eye on your website and ensure that your website is up and running all the time. This is how real browser monitoring works in Applications Manager. Now let's go on and see some other use cases where synthetic monitoring is helpful to your business. So here are the use cases where your businesses would actually need synthetic transaction monitoring. First and foremost, you'll need to compare your performance with the other competitors. With the synthetic monitoring, you can set up benchmark scenarios to see how applications are performing over time. You can also benchmark your company's performance against top competitors within a certain historical time frame or within a specific geographical location. This approach will help you establish a strategic outlook and preserve competitive advantage in the marketplace. Secondly, you will be able to test out new features. Synthetic monitoring will provide a set of baselines and thresholds that will pinpoint any obstacles one is most likely to face while using the application in real time. Thirdly, you'll be able to assess the performance of third-party apps. Today's websites increasingly rely on third-party features for cards, ads, customer reviews, web analytics, SEO add-ons, videos, and much more to provide an outstanding customer experience. If there is a weak link in any of these chains or one or more of these elements are not working correctly, it can adversely impact your site. So synthetic monitoring can assist in helping you monitor your third-party applications while also alerting you to potential or real performance degradations and downtime impacts. This helps tremendously in providing a line of sight on your service level agreements in order to hold the third-party vendors accountable. Lastly, you'll be able to find issues before your customers do. Synthetic monitoring helps you set baseline tests in order to measure the way your customers will interact with your websites. This type of testing can help you get direct feedback on performance degradation or availability issues. It will also help your team locate the root cause, engage the right experts, and fix issues before they impact end users. Now let's move on to the third topic for the day, which is analyzing real user behavioral patterns to gain insight into front-end performance. First of all, what is real user monitoring? Real user monitoring refers to capturing user interactions with a website in real time. This helps you analyze how your end users perceive your website. As businesses go digital and global, their websites are accessed from various devices and multiple geographies. It is important to provide a consistent user experience across all geographies and devices, but in reality, the user experience could be impacted by various external factors. This could include network latency, operational hiccups, trouble reverting requests, resources, slow ISPs, and more. Also, what works in one browser may not work in the other. This is exactly where real user monitoring comes in handy. It helps you see why a particular website is down in a particular region and will help you identify whether you have overlooked any issues with your page load times. It will find out where exactly your issue is and will help you understand why the user abandoned your page in the first place. All this information will help you optimize your website performance for the future. To understand why RUM is essential, we must understand the drawbacks of synthetic transaction monitoring. Synthetic transaction monitoring does not always align with reality. Since the nature of the traffic used for synthetic testing is not organic but synthetic, it is not truly representative of a real user experience at any given time. Its outcome and performance are rather predictable. Because synthetic monitoring uses simulated actions, it does not predict the actions of real life customers. Secondly, it consumes a lot of time for incident resolution. When you receive complaints from end users in real time, synthetic monitoring will not tell you about what exactly the issue is. You would have to painstakingly analyze the performance of in every business critical transaction, create scripts for synthetic testing, and diagnose in order to uncover possible issues. This can be extremely time consuming. Thirdly, you'll only be able to achieve a narrow view of performance. Since you're not monitoring the actual users, you're not really getting an idea of how your website is being used in the real world. All you have is a simply narrow view of your website performance. So, how exactly does RUM work in Applications Manager? To facilitate data collection and reporting, you need to download and install our Real User Monitoring Agent or RUM agent. The RUM agent is deployed on the server where the web application is hosted. Following that, you need to insert a small JavaScript snippet generated by Applications Manager on the header or footer part of the HTML of the code of the website. If you wish to monitor the web application, you'll need to insert the code in the common index page of the web application that needs to be monitored. Upon loading, the JavaScript snippet will act as code and collects the performance data and constantly transmits it to the IAM agent. The agent communicates this between JS code and Applications Manager's web client data, which depicts the captured data. With the real user monitoring in Applications Manager, you'll be easily able to analyze the front-end performance across several geographies. You'll also be able to analyze the front-end performance based on internet service providers, browsers, and devices to ensure hassle-free digital experience. You'll be able to measure end-user satisfaction. You'll be able to isolate web transactions that contribute to poor user experiences of applications. You can gain insights into domain resources and user sessions. Additionally, you will be able to identify JavaScript errors instantly, which will prevent users from reporting service errors. Finally, you'll also be able to analyze and compare the impact of any new changes that take place in your web applications. So let us see how RUM works in Applications Manager. To start with RUM in Applications Manager, you'll need to download the Real User Monitoring add-on agent here. Based on your operating system, Applications Manager build and your agent version. So once you download it, you'll need to get the API key as we have done before. Go to settings, integration with portals, REST API, and then you'll have the API key with you, which will help you install the RUM agent in your console. Once you're done installing, you can navigate to new monitor, click on add new monitor, click on web server and services, and you'll find real user monitor right here. So once you enter the website URL, you'll be asked to specify a name for the monitor and an APDEX threshold. So you can get this threshold based on your preference in milliseconds for your satisfied users, tolerating users, and frustrated users. Once you're done with this, you can click on next, which will redirect you to associate the instance with an RUM agent. I already have installed an agent, so I'm going to select that. And once I click on next, it'll ask me to select the application type. So as I have already added this monitor, let's see how it looks after fetching all the required parameters. So once you download the JS script from here, you can inject it in your HTML code and then proceed to monitor it. So once I'm done with associating a monitor, I click on monitors here, and you can find the monitor under web server or services. So as you can see here, you'll be able to fetch the ability of your web page for the last 6 hours and the performance history. In summary, we have the APDEX score, the average response time, the number of page views, and the error count for each. In the summary report, you can have a report of the page performance over multiple geolocations. Hovering on the geolocations, you can find out all the parameters that you want to fetch, like APDEX score, response time, page views, throughput, count. And if you scroll down a little, you'll have a response time split up, where by just hovering on the graph, you can find out the parameters at a given time, like redirection time, DNS time, connection time, server time, and every other parameter that indicates your website's performance. And then you can check out the page views and throughput here. Going deeper, we have the same geographic map here. So you can also generate reports of this, and you have the geographic summary based on the region that your site is being accessed from, with the APDEX score, the response time, page views, and throughput. And then we have the split up based on the internet service provider. For each internet service provider, you can see how your page is performing with the average response time, the number of user sessions that are being active through that internet service provider, and the throughput. And then we have the split up based on the browser that users are accessing it from. For each browser, you'll have a split up with the response time, page load time, and throughput. If you click on each browser, it'll lead you to a report where you can check out the response time and throughput from each browser. And you can also check out the version of each browser there with the response time specified. So this will help you understand how the browser is also impacting your website performance. And then you have the device type split up. So as we know, the website performance can differ based on the device specifications as well, depending on the RAM and the other specs. So if we have a response time split up, a usage split up, and we have viewports here, the kind of connections that are made with the web page, and the device memory of each device that is accessing our website. You can have you can check out the summary here. You can click on it, and it will lead you to a report where you can check out the response time and throughput. And then we have the web page split up, where you have multiple web pages under a single website, right? So you can check out the performance of each web page with the response time, throughput, and you can click on Ajax calls and understand the transactions that are being happening with the specific web page. You can also find the APEX score and average response time right here. And we have user session split up where you can see the number of users that are accessing our web page at that point, the total number of sessions, the average viewing time, and the pages that are being navigated to. So you have a session summary here, browser name, device, country, and the number of navigated to. You can also see the viewing time that will help you understand the end user experience from the user perspective. Then we have resources split, which will help you understand what resources are being accessed and how the resources are responding and how much of the resources are being consumed by the web page to fulfill a request. So you have first party resources and then third party resources, also CDN resources. You can find average resource size and average response time for each resource. And then you have Ajax calls, where you can find each transaction done and the performance of each transaction with APEX score and the response time along with throughput. You can also see the page views here and response time. This will help you understand how each transaction is going on in your web page, and it will help you understand your website performance better. So you can find your JavaScript errors here. This will help you understand the number of errors that are being thrown up in each page, the files that are with errors, and users that are being affected by the errors. So you can find the errors here, the number of the error count, and then you can check out the type of errors, files that are being affected, pages that are being affected from browsers and the affected users and the domains that are being affected. So this is how real user monitoring works in Applications Manager. This way, you'll be able to get a holistic picture of how your website is performing for your real users, and you'll be able to optimize it based on the same. Now that we have understood how synthetic transaction monitoring and real user monitoring work, let us see how they complement each other and provide great benefits when employed on your websites. First, they correlate business with performance. Synthetic monitoring can provide performance data that will enable you to pinpoint problems with page load time or network bottlenecks. However, if you want to analyze how web performance impacts business revenue, you need more than synthetic performance metrics. Since RUM is generated through a real user traffic, it provides essential insight into real business metrics such as conversion rates, etc., which can then be correlated with the continuous performance metrics which are collected via synthetic testing. Secondly, you will be able to identify problems even before active users arrive. No matter where applications are hosted, problems are bound to occur. Synthetic monitoring is the most effective solution to identify the configuration problem caused by off-hour maintenance changes so that it can be fixed before users begin using your application service in the peak hours. On the other hand, IOM will be a most useful tool to mention application responsiveness for each and every live user during the peak hours. Secondly, it will help you troubleshoot performance outages. Combining synthetic and RUM data can make troubleshooting quicker and easier. When synthetic tests fail to trigger a particular alert, data gathered from RUM will show you the real-time impact of end-user experience. Similarly, if RUM data reveals a performance anomaly, then you can use synthetic data to replicate the issue by exercising the same transaction across the number of ISPs and geolocations. Collecting data in this particular way will allow you to triangulate from various vantage points to identify the root cause that may lie in the data part between the end users and their application service. RUM and synthetic data can be used simultaneously to verify and deep dive into performance issues. Also, if you want a personalized demo, a hands-on experience with the tool, our experts can get back to you. You just need to answer yes to the poll that will pop up on your screens right now. Thank you for your participation. Now let's proceed to the last topic for the third part, which is enhancing web page performance to safeguard your brand reputation. What is a web page analyzer and why would we need it? Synthetic monitoring and real user monitoring will give you insight into your performance from an end user perspective. Applications Manager's Web Page Analyzer will enable you to perform web page analysis, keep track of your web pages, and optimize performance using page speed rules and suggestions. It can help you identify what exactly is slowing down your websites. PageSpeed Insight is an online tool which helps you identify performance best practices on any given website. It will help you provide suggestions on page optimizations, and it will also help you understand how we can make your website perform faster. If we have to talk about Web Page Analyzer in a crux, it provides insight into various key metrics that will help you effectively manage web pages. During each poll, Applications Manager loads a web page on the browser in a cache-less state, and it captures the real-time data of various performance metrics of your web page. So with the help of Web Page Analyzer, you'll be able to track response time and domain summary. You'll be able to gain page speed scores and suggestions. You'll be able to perform request tracking with the waterfall chart, which displays and tracks the various components that render while loading the web page. This waterfall chart will give you a visual representation of the critical metrics related to each transaction, which help you identify components that are loading slowly. This way, you can prevent website downtime and slowness and help the website to perform optimally. You will also be able to manage the SSL certificates of your web page as well. Let us see how Web Page Analyzer looks in Applications Manager. So to start with Web Page Analyzer, you'll need to download an add-on. So you can download the Web Page Analyzer add-on from here based on your operating system and your build version. Once you download this, you don't need to enter any API key. You can just copy and paste this file under your Applications Manager home or working folder. Once you're done with that, we can go to Applications Manager, start with adding a new monitor, the usual drill. You can click on Add New Monitor, Web Server or Services. You have a Web Page Analyzer right here. So once you're here, you can specify a display name according to your preference, the web page URL you want to monitor, the page load timeout in seconds according to your preference. It is set to 30 initially, and wait after load, which is set to 10 initially. You can input the HTTP method, whether it is a GET or POST method. If it is a POST method, you'll need to specify the payload, and you can specify if custom details headers if there are any. You can authenticate it with a username or password. You can specify if there are any domains to block. You can opt for a content check for response, and you can also enable SSL TLS certificate monitoring if you want to monitor any. Specify the domain, port, and select a protocol. Specify if you need a proxy to connect to the domain, and you can choose whether to ignore a mismatched certificate name and ignore a invalid or root intermediate certificate. And you can prefer a timeout in seconds. And once you set the polling interval, you can just test the credentials and add monitor. Once you're done with that, you can go to monitors where you can find the web page analyzer right here under web services and servers. So as you can see, the web page we are monitoring, the health is not well, but the availability is up and running. So you can see the web page summary here, the page load time in milliseconds, number of requests that are generated for the page size, and if there are any days for certificate expiry. We also have the page score derived from PageSpeed Insights, which is 89. And we also have a response time summary here, which will give us the split of DNS time, connection time, first byte, start render, document complete, and page load time. Start render is nothing but the time taken for the first change to be visible, and document complete is the time taken for all resources of the page to download completely. Then if we go to network log, we have a waterfall chart here, which will help you understand your web page performance from transaction to transaction. If you just hover on it, you'll be able to fetch the details of start time, redirection time, domain lookup, connection time, secure connection time, latency, download time, and blocking time. So this waterfall chart enables you to understand each transaction and how it is performing from an end user's perspective. Then we have resource details about what resources are being consumed, at what rate, and what sizes. So as you can see, you have a pie splitter of the HTML files, CSS files, script, image, and other files, at what percentage they are consuming the page, and then the count of resources. And then if we go to page speed insights, you will have a set of suggestions to improve your page. Like there are multiple parameters right here and they are being graded. If you see the scores, you'll be able to understand the elements that need optimization and that are performing really well. So you can just check out the elements that need optimization, take the suggestions and implement them on your web page. So this helps you make your web page more accessible and more performative for your end users. So this is how the web page analyzer works inside Applications Manager. So the next thing we have is a brand reputation monitor. As the title suggests, this helps you maintain the reputation of a particular website. This monitor will track and ensure your brand reputation and that it is maintained by preventing your website from being blacklisted. You will get insights whether the website is identified as suspected, malware, phishing, deceptive, or as an unwanted software. You'll get immediately notified if any of your web pages are marked unsafe. Let us see how to deploy it in your Applications Manager console. You would not need any add-on or download for Brand Reputation Monitor. You can go straight to New Monitor, click on Add New Monitor, Web Server or Services, and there you'll have your Brand Reputation Monitor. So once you click on it, it'll just ask you two things: for a display name and for the web page you want to monitor. Once you give it a website name, you can also discover the web pages that fall into the same website, and you can also add this web page, check connectivity, and add monitor directly. So once you're done with that, you'll find the brand reputation monitor right under web server or services. You can click on the brand reputation monitor. It will take you to this page where you can find the availability and performance of your web page, and it will give you a count based on the malware that is present in your page, or the phishing or deceptive links or content that is present in your page, or if there is any unwanted software. So as you can see, the value is 0 for now, and if you come to details, it will give you a clearance if it is suspected as malware, if it is suspected as phishing or deceptive content, or if it is flagged as a unwanted software. Now, as we can see, our web page is not flagged as any. We know that it is safe. But if it is, it will give you an alert instantly based on your configurations on your Slack, email, or SMS according to your preference. So this is how the brand reputation monitor works. You can also add any content check if you need. So that is about it. And moving on, we have introduced a new feature in our latest build, which is the WebSocket monitor. It is no news that WebSockets have become a crucial technology for delivering live data and interactive experiences in modern applications. Applications Manager helps you monitor WebSocket connections for availability, performance, and message integrity. This helps you ensure high availability, low latency, and seamless user experiences across all your WebSocket enabled devices. With Applications Manager's WebSocket Monitor, you can gain a comprehensive view into your WebSocket health. It will help you validate WebSocket message content, and you can also get notified instantly whenever issues like handshake timeouts, connection delays, or content mismatches occur. You can also track handshake durations, response times, and message content to understand where the issues are occurring. So, to add a WebSocket monitor, you would not need to download anything. You can just go to Add New Monitor, Web Server or Services, the same usual drill, and then you can click on WebSocket Monitor. So once you click on the WebSocket Monitor, you'll be taken to this page where you'll need to specify the display name, input the WebSocket URL, specify a timeout time, which is initially 15 seconds. If you want to authenticate it, you can authenticate it using basic authentication. You can use a pre-saved credential or an OAuth token or a web token right here. And once you're done with it, you can specify any custom HTTPS headers. And you can specify the payload here. You can also add a content check right here. And then once you're done with giving your polling interval, you can test the credential and directly add monitor to your console. Once you're done with adding your monitor to the console, you can find your monitor under Web Server and Services right here. So once you click on it, you'll be taken to the monitoring interface where you can find the availability history for the last 6 hours, performance history, and response time split up, which gives you a color-coded graph of response time, connection time, handshake time, and WebSocket handshake time. So if there is a spike in it, you'll be able to identify it immediately and find the anomaly and act in real time. So this is how the WebSocket monitor helps. Now, let us have a quick look on the topics that we have discussed in today's session. First, we have discussed how we can monitor individual URLs for better user experience. And then we discussed how we can analyze the issues faced in critical workflows. And then we saw how synthetic transaction monitoring will help you go beyond the app-only view and how RUM beautifully complements it to help you understand the user experience in real time. Lastly, we saw how we can optimize web page performance via Web Page Analyzer and Brand Reputation Monitor. Before we move to the Q&A session, we request you to take a few seconds and answer the polls which will pop up on your screen right now. Please drop your valuable feedback in the poll so that we'll be able to improve on it and give you a better webinar experience in the future. You've been a great audience today, and your feedback is very valuable to us. Our panelists are readily available to answer your queries. In case you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat panel and we'll be happy to answer you. Thank you for tuning in to today's session. You've been a great audience and have a nice day. The webinar session will be active for a few more minutes. In case you got any queries, please drop them in the chat box and our panelists will be more than happy to help you with them.